Kalen Patterson with Midwest Muscle. I'm here at Absolute Definition. Is that the name of the place?
It is the name of the place. You're
And
correct.
this is a really nice place, a nice little venue, and it's easy to find. I thought I was going to have trouble getting here. It's actually quite easy to find. And this is your place,
Mhm.
and introduce yourself to the people that might not know you.
I'm Brenda Ray. I own Absolute Definition, shaping the future one body at a time. Health and wellness studio. My goal here is literally to provide people with the tools they need to literally build their best life and live a healthy lifestyle. I am also a pro natural bodybuilder. I've been competing for 14 years and previously in the WNBF for a decade and just recently switched to the IFPA. And I have a total of 10 pro titles to date.
Yeah, we got to hold some of
We
those.
did, we did.
Now, you're doing something that I think is much needed, and especially for the natural community to increase, and that's you're holding a seminar, and these are two of the people that actually showed up. Could you ladies introduce yourselves, please?
I'm Andrea Jones, and I'm currently one of Brenda's pupils to train. And I'm Cassie Beath, and I'm also on Team Physique.
Oh, so there's a team here as well,
We
the
do.
team aspect, and that's also growing in the shows. Now, with the seminar, there was a lot of questions that I wasn't, you know, ready to hear. It's just serious questions, but I guess because we've been in the life so long, we kind of forget them, and it's good to be reminded. Like you said, it's good for us to be reminded as well.
It is good. We had a total of, I believe, 15 people at camp today, so it was good. Some people have competed before, some people have never competed before, so it's a nice environment for people to learn from each other. Even though we've competed how many times, we still learn something new too from each other, and it's great energy to help support, motivate, introduce new people who haven't maybe competed before either to the sport and to each other. This is good for support.
Now, with all the avenues that are opening up, Ben Yosef has started the Natural magazine, and Natural Gains, so that's a big plus. And these seminars where people are getting more knowledge, more and more knowledge about what it takes to compete. Because all right, you ask certain things from the promoter, you ask certain things from the judges, but what are you willing to give to increase the sport? And I think these seminars are a good avenue and a good venue to make that happen, especially when the competition has increased the way it has.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of my biggest points at this point is, when I first started out, I intended only to do this once, literally, as I shared with everybody that came to camp today. And I fell in love with the sport, and through the years, I just look for ways to give back and try to give them what I didn't have for guidance when I started out, so that it's a more enjoyable process and that they understand that it is a process. It's not an outcome that you're focusing on. It's actually a lifestyle and a healthy one if done correctly. And with the support of everyone else, it makes it so much more enjoyable.
Now, ladies, when you have somebody that's walking the walk and living the life, how much easier is it to understand as you see her go through the process to know that you can actually make it through yourself?
It makes it way easier.
And you?
Yeah, I agree. Because her knowledge is going to help us enormously, and just to help other people that we know and expand it, like you said, to share it with other people so that they can try it for themselves someday.
And I think that's a very good point where when we step on stage, we're not just representing us. I used to think bodybuilding was so egotistical and so, just one individual doing great things. But there's such a dynamic, there's such a support system that has to happen in order for that one person to shine.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that when you're looking in the natural realm, that you find that a lot. It's just, again, we all become literally brothers and sisters in steel, and support one another, and just motivate, inspire, learn with each other, from each other. It's a process that we go through, and we should really be doing it together. The end result on stage is it's yours, it's individual, but it's the journey and the process again to get there. And even that day, I mean, you're bonding and making new friends, and they're lifetime friends. It's not just my friend today on stage, it's something you take forever with you.
And you stay in contact, and like you said, we're always learning. There's always going to be something that's missed by one individual, but not the whole group, because there's always a person. I mean, we have such a dynamic in natural bodybuilding where you have firemen, we have policemen here, where he's saying I want to be a better police officer, not a competitor. I mean, it's like we forget that there's a life outside of stage, and it's good to be reminded, especially in these seminars with the questions and a lot of the answers and a lot of the questions that come from those answers. It's always, something, but I appreciate you wanting to give back because it's not just winning where you're not winning and that's enough. You want to give back where you feel like you're winning in life.
Yeah, I agree, and I just think if I can help them have even a piece of the experience that I've had in my 14 years of competing, which again, I swear I was only going to do it one time. Just forewarning you guys, you're in for it. That's my goal, and I really want them to feel good about it. I want them to feel healthy too. That's a big thing for me. I want to know that they're going to go through their prep and they're not going to starve themselves lean. They're going to feed themselves lean. They're going to stay healthy. They're going to be strong and come out of it with your health intact. That's the biggest part, and you're not hearing about how I was so tired I could hardly even function in the end, and it's not the way it's supposed to be if it's done right.
And there's such a background of ignorance, and I don't want to say that as a bad term, but there's a lot of things that were taught that were just completely wrong. And to have to break through that is not done with a fist, it's done with an open hand. And that's what these seminars help to provide. And ladies, I hope that you understand that this is a new thing. It should have been done at an inception, but now we're getting where the people that know are teaching, and that's a blessing like nobody's business. And the fact that you have somebody that's willing to take that extra step is an even bigger blessing, one you can actually reach out and touch. So, what would you like to tell her, and what did you learn from these seminars?
I've learned a lot from the seminars and just from talking with Brenda already, just a lot of stuff about balance, the correct nutrition, the way you should be feeling with the nutrition, and that you don't need, all the supplements that are out there that are supposedly so well. You can get that from just normal food. And the support of everybody is just great.
Well, my confidence in Brenda is huge with her winning world competitions, and then she obviously knows the science behind it. I just feel very confident that I'm going to be prepared the best I can be in 16 weeks. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it with you guys. Yeah.
And when you hear this kind of feedback, because we never know everything, we're never going to know everything. We're always going to be learning. And I said, when you figure it all out, you're usually dead. So it's pretty much not going to get passed on to anybody else. So it's good to enjoy that time and the sharing. And we do have a family bond in natural bodybuilding. And I love that dynamic. And I'm just so glad that when people come in, they're welcomed. It's not just, here comes some more competition. The competition increases because there's a love that wants you to increase. As a competitor, with the years, the shows, and watching that happen and grow, how does that make you feel inside?
Really good, actually. I love that part of it. I'm not just saying that. We truly become one big family. Whether you've competed before, you haven't competed before, once you step into that path, and you find the right guidance too. I think, it's finding the right people to help you, literally take you in as a family member, because you guys aren't just my clients. I'm doing your prep as though it was my prep, because I want you to succeed. So, and that's my goal, is to give that to people and see them and all of us come together to do that. It doesn't matter where we are, and that's the greatest thing is, if I've done this for 14 years or you just started or you've done it a couple of times, we're literally all on the same platform. Your federation, your chosen division, or how many times you've competed, or if you've won titles, things like that, that's icing on the cake. So the fact is we're all competing here. We're all together in the same place, and that's really what matters the most. And I think that more people need to know that we are literally here to pay it forward and give back. So, I don't know everything like you said, and I'm still learning too, but I know a lot more now than I did 14 years ago.
Yes.
So it's time to pay back. I feel like I want to give you guys as much as I can give.
And also, this makes for a better show. When you have people that are comfortable, because you figure we're about as raw and about as open and about as exposed as anyone will be in life, and you can't be uncomfortable in that state and it not show. And at a show, which you have coming, this year, that makes for a better product, I guess the best way to say it, where you have people that are actually representing exactly how you want it to be portrayed, because now they have a background in it.
Yeah, and that's really true. I think too, I've heard really great feedback actually from people that have competed in my shows. This will be my 6th year as a promoter, and again, did it to give back to the sport. And my goal is literally to give them a show that I would love to compete in. So I try to cater to the athlete 110%. Everything is about them and for them. And if I were to compete in my show, how would I feel if I had this or if I didn't have that, or what can I do to make it better? And that's what keeps them coming back and helping, you know, them find more people to compete and tell their friends so that the show continues to grow. Because if we don't do that, where does the sport go? You know, so
Yeah, and where does health go?
right.
I mean, if the whole aspect is to be healthy and fit, and you're showing your best, like you said, you shouldn't feel your worst if you're supposed to be looking your best. You should feel your best as well. And you know, as competitors, I mean, I'm ready to get back in the gym as soon as I can. I know that you're supposed to take that time off, but you should have that feeling where you're ready to go, not like ready for death. And it's just so nice. And I mean, boy, I'm just because it was always Jerry Lewis, and I just hear his voice, you know, and the fact that I could come out here and learn, you know, you can never say there's never a spot. You're always learning, and there's always somewhere to go that's new, and it's so worth the trip to come up here. And I think your show's pretty close here, right?
It is actually. It's May 10th actually in Kohler, Wisconsin at the Kohler Memorial Theater. And the show name this year, of course, changed because I changed my federation as well last year as a pro. So show is now the IFPA, NANBF Pro-Am Natural American Championships in place of what was the INBF Central USA.
Oh, so that's good news. So it has it been changed in the menu for, I think they got show dates and stuff like that?
Correct. It's actually on, of course, the NANBF IFPA website. It's on naturalbodybuildingevents.com, and my website also, which is just brendaray.com.
And I appreciate your site because that's how I was able to find this. Like everything pops up exactly as you. The format is exactly as you think it for a person that has no idea what to look for, and I appreciate that. Thank you, because it was easy to get the address and everything else. And I was like, oh my God, because you know people were asking about the show, and I was like, well, I don't really know, you know. So I know she changed it over, so it was kind of weird. And then it was like, okay, just check it out, boom, 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 and everything was there. So I appreciate the format. I appreciate the design and the layout. Thank you.
No problem.
So, Kaylin Patterson, Brenda Ray, ladies,
Andrea Jones.
Cassie B.
Midwest Muscle at Absolute Definition in Sheboygan. We are out.